And the reason information keeps people poor is because there's too much of it scattered and not focused. What's up, you guys? Steven back again with Magic Mental Money. Different conversation today. Not going to talk so much about magic. It's going to be a little more broad, a little bit more about just the hustle, how to work, how to get ahead, how to really obtain success and achieve in life. So not going to be too focused on magic, and we'll talk a little bit about money, but it's not so much about money. It is about, that's just a simple metric of certain types of success. I want to talk a little bit about success in life in general and how information can just leave you in the dust. We live in a world of just so much noise, so much information, just commercials and ads and blog posts and Insta chat and all that stuff just coming at you. There's so much information in the world that you can get lost in it and never get ahead. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So the whole reason I decided to talk about this was I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine, Jordan, and it's a joke between us how little I know about current events and how much he knows. He loves U.S. politics. He loves staying informed about major, commercial news. He loves it. Awesome. I don't like it. I don't know much. And so I always joke around if I find out something that might be really, really late, like I'm talking like a year late, I'll text him and be like, hey, I just found out this person is my senator. And he'll just laugh and think it's so funny. And he's just amazed at how I stay so out of the loop with that type of stuff. And, he said, sometimes sometimes it's really stressful watching the news and staying up with current politics. And he's like, maybe I'm starting to think ignorance is bliss. And I was like, well, yeah, of course ignorance is bliss, because it's the opportunity cost of information that's the real problem here. And I think this is a principle that we might all have experienced, but maybe not all been able to put into words or think about or address or dissect. So that's my purpose of today's video, to think, hey man, for me, I don't care about certain types of politics or whatever, but that allows information, that allows time and energy for me to devote to other resources like magic. Like magic is not super critical to anyone's happiness or success in life, right? Like no one needs to know what magic is about, but I enjoy it and I can benefit from it and I can learn from it and it helps me. So I'm not trying to say one is better than the other, right? I mean, I think it's important probably to stay, my pendulum is probably a little too far on the ignorant side when it comes to politics, but usually there's a happy medium. But, for him, it's like, hey, you know more about baseball than anybody that I know. And there's no way you could know that much about baseball if you spent all of your time studying, this middle of the world, like a country totally far off, if you were studying like their history or their language, or you were trying to learn like old Chinese or something, like if you were trying to learn that language, that would take up so much of your brain and your energy and your time, you wouldn't be able to also know that much about baseball. Unless those were the only two things. But you get the picture, right? There's trade-offs. There's opportunity costs with any type of way we spend our time, with any way we spend our information. For example, you're all watching this video today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. And I hope this is worth your time. But it does come at an opportunity cost, right? You're not watching football unless you're doing both at the same time. You got me on your phone and football on the TV. Awesome. Sweet. Appreciate it. I love that I compete with football for your attention. But you know what I mean, right? There's opportunity cost. The fact that you're spending your time and your energy and attention on one item, you can't do it on others. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? You just got to recognize that's the reality and decide what matters to you. Because when we talk about working and hustling and getting ahead, sometimes that just sounds exhausting, right? People say you got to be putting in 100-hour work weeks if you want to get ahead. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you better put everything and sacrifice everything else. Well, sure, that's worked for some people and it can be a path to success, but that sounds awful to a lot of people. Then you think, all right, well, if it takes that, well, then my only other option is to stay at my dead-end job. So I'll just do that because at least at my dead-end job, I get to play video games at the end of the day or whatever. I get to go play with my kids and put my kids down to bed because I have some time to myself, whatever it is. Well, there's more options than that, right? It's not just be Elon Musk and work 200-hour work weeks in 168 hours. I know it's crazy, but he does it somehow. Or stay at your dead-end job and never get ahead, right? But it's about finding the balance and making sure that, hey, I'm not going to just devote all of my time towards, different pieces of information. So it's like, hey, I'm not saying Insta chat is bad, but if you spend 30 hours on it a week, you probably don't have much time or energy or attention to devote to other hobbies or other side hobbies or side hustles or ways to get ahead, different ways to learn about more investments. You can be a more informed investor, educating yourself, reading good books, reading the biographies of people who have accomplished much to get motivated. So you got to make sure you find that balance, because the real problem with the information and the reason information keeps people poor is because there's too much of it scattered and not focused. You spend a little bit of attention on cat videos, and a little bit of attention on dog videos, and a little bit of attention on football, a little bit of attention on basketball, and you spread all this out, and there's nothing left. And so you don't have any time in the day to put in some effort to say, hey, I'm going to make sure I take 1 to 2 hours every single day and really put it into my side hustle. Or hey, if you got your fitness goals, and say, hey, I'm going to make sure I have the energy and the effort and the time to devote 30 minutes a day to my exercise program, or an hour, or whatever you want to do, right? You got to make sure you're staying balanced and that you're recognizing there is opportunity cost to everything, and choose what matters to you. For example, I love the NFL. Can't wait for the Super Bowl. I'm excited. Wish the Pats were in it again, but at least my boy Tom Brady's in it again. Excited for him. Some Patriot fans hate Tom Brady. You know what? The dude's the GOAT. Whatever. Go Bucks, I guess. But I don't really know much about college football. I don't really watch it. I can't devote Saturday and Sunday to watching football, so I chose one. And I prefer the NFL. And honestly, in the off season, there's always a bit of a relief in the off season for me, because I'm like, I have so much time and energy back. And then 2 months into the offseason, I'm like, when is the NFL going to start again? You guys know what I mean. For those of you who are fans of a sport, you know what I mean. It's a little bit of a relief when the offseason starts, because you're like, I get some time back to myself and to devote to other hobbies. But man, do you start itching. You start itching. Anyway, in the offseason, I don't care. Like, people ask me, like, what do you think of the Patriots draft? I don't know. I don't care. I'll find out when the season starts, Same thing with like off-season training camps, all that stuff. I don't really keep up with it, because it's time that I can just say, hey, I'm not going to spend time on football and on the NFL when the season's off, because I'm going to devote that time and energy and information to other things, even just within the entertainment category, right? Maybe I play a little more Magic in the off-season and enjoy that a little bit more for my entertainment hours per week, and don't devote it towards the NFL. So I can keep that balance, stay entertained, and stay, into my hobbies, but not have to devote all of my time just to hobbies or just to, entertainment. Right? So I can still take time to make sure I'm working on my side hustle, that I'm making YouTube videos, that I'm consistently reading and educating myself and learning and getting ahead and, growing as a person, personal development, which is really important to me. One of my core values. I love personal development. I can't do it if I'm just inundated with information just from every direction. So you got to be selective. And there's definitely time for a hobby and for fun and for, entertainment. If you love cat videos or dog videos, watch your cat video and dog video. But you can't watch your cat and dog videos and everything else, right? You got to choose, you got to be selective. It's just about being proactive to say, hey, this is what I know I enjoy. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it hard, and I'm going to watch a movie that I actually like, and then that's it. I'm not going to leave Netflix on in the background for 3 hours while I'm like in just this fog and daze, and then finally drift off to sleep at midnight. No, I'm going to start at 7 o'clock. I'm going to watch a movie, and at 9, done, go brush my teeth, right? I mean, people say they don't have time for a movie, but you have time for 6 hours of Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about just making sure that you can stay focused on and not lose yourself scattered everywhere, but that you find areas to focus on. Again, you got to keep time. You got to stay balanced. I love having time for entertainment and fun. Spending time with loved ones, that's really important. All about that balance in life, but proactive balance, making sure that you choose how you're spending your entertainment, how you spend your information and energy, control what information comes to you. Don't just let every little bit and noise and screen and soundbite and speaker flood you with different information, right? Choose what matters to you, go for it, and then stay energized and spend your other hours working on that side hustle, working on that education, working on your night school, whatever you're doing to get ahead. That's how it's going to be done. That's how you can get ahead and stay balanced, stay energized, and keep that long-term focus. And if you are an Elon Musk and you can do 200-hour works in a week, awesome, good for you. But a lot of people can't, and that's okay. We don't all have to be Elon. You know what I mean? There can be one. That's fine. He's a wild character anyway. We don't need 20 of them. We don't need 100 of them. We don't need a million of them running around. But be you, and try to be a little bit better. Try to work a little bit harder and take it one day at a time. If you want to get ahead and you want to take your life to the next level wherever you are, I don't care if you're here, want to be here, if you're already here and want to be there, it doesn't matter. You want to get ahead and you want to take your next life to the next level, do it. And make sure you do it proactively while being selective about how you spend your time and energy and how you spend your effort and your emotions and your brain capacity, your focus. And make sure that you work hard, and we'll see you next time.